Hi, welcome to the Headphones On Podcast Anime Edition. I'm your host, Hunter.
My name is Juan.
And today we are talking about underrated anime shows, shows that we love that we feel like don't get the respect that they should or should be more talked about
Or
in the
rated higher than
community.
what they are.
Yeah. So we've each given basically 5 shows that we just wanted to talk about and shout out. And most likely, you probably heard of some of these, maybe you haven't. But let us know down below what your favorite underrated shows are. But Juan, we'll start with you. What is your number 5? Or if you have them in a particular order,
I,
whatever you
I
want
didn't
to.
actually put them in particular order, but I could actually set it up actually right now.
Hmm.
Honestly, I guess saying in number 5 will be Cautious Hero. For me, that show when I saw it, I was thinking it's gonna be it is a 12 episode show, but I'll forget about it after the next season. It'll come and go, and it'll be done. This is like maybe like 4 seasons now, and still remember the show. It's very enjoyable. It's literally a short, sweet story, 12 and done, memorable, and has such a grand twist that I was not expecting from a show in general, and especially for a 12 episode show. Once you get to watching as much anime as most people have, you could pretty much pick up the pace of like, okay, so this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it loses the predictability
Hmm.
with most of the shows. And Cautious Hero, that twist near the end, I don't want to really spoil it or anything, but it completely took me off guard. And for me, even it just being a 12 episode show, it deserves way more praise of what it's getting from right now. I think last time I saw it in like my anime list, it's like most people give it a 7, and it was like, for a 7, no, definitely not. It should definitely be rated higher.
Hmm. But basically, like the premise of the show is because I just watched it recently. Is that this guy gets pulled into this world? It's kind of like a
Almost like a sekai, like
isekai,
again,
yeah,
like people think it like I said, it's just another sekai.
yeah.
Typical 12, you're done and stuff like that. But
And basically, this goddess, she pulls him into the world to like stop this like evil that's going to destroy everything. But obviously, because of the title of the show, he is overly cautious. So he sits there and he'll train over and over again. And if he's not ready for something, even if people are getting hurt or whatever, he's like, "No, I have to go back and train
the best way
and
I,
make sure he's over prepared to defeat whoever he's
the
fighting."
best way I describe it is like in video game terms. Like, let's say the boss is level 20 and this
Yeah.
man is like level 50. He's like, nah, gotta be at least 3 times the boss's level before I go fight him.
Yeah, it's actually it's very funny, in very unexpected ways. It's kind of dark, and on top of that, it's also like you said has a very interesting sort of twist towards the end of it. I when I watched it, I thought the same thing you were gonna like think was it was just gonna be kind of like a throwaway show, but for me, I ended up really liking it halfway through, and there was one scene in particular, without saying it, like that had me dying laughing, like for like a good solid 10 minutes. It's actually pretty good. So, okay, that's a solid choice.
Hmm.
I agree with that. My number 5 is one of Juan's favorites.
Oh boy. Oh wait,
Clay-
that's a good way.
Claymore.
Fucking hey, never mind.
I love Claymore. Most people who talk about Claymore, they'll mention like the manga. A lot of people haven't seen it. To me, it's probably one of the first shows that got me into watching anime shows, just because of how dark it is and how grim it is. It is not a nice show. It is not a forgiving show. It is very, very unforgiving, very brutal. Characters will fucking die that you're like, oh shit, this is the main character, right? Nope. um, and it's basically like a medieval show where these like special
Women.
hunters basically go and fight demons and stuff like that.
That's
And
the one that's only women, right?
yeah,
For no
and
reason,
it's
right?
it's all females or whatever.
For no reason, right? It's just
Yeah,
just cause plot, right?
yeah,
Okay, right.
but they're badass.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, the show is just very like the demons are, it kind of reminded me of like it's kind of like your first like demon slayer in a way. Like it was like Demon Slayer before Demon Slayer, because that's literally what it is now that I think about it.
Are
Wow,
are
it's
the
actually blowing my
are
mind
the
now.
fightings even like that great?
The fights are good.
How old is that show? Like, give or take?
It's let me look it up. It should be probably like in the 2000s or early 2010s, if I'm not mistaken. But it aged really well, and the animation's very, very different. And it 2007. Yeah. Um, you looking up the manga for Demon
No,
Slayer?
no, 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 no. I'm looking at something else. Go on.
Oh, but yeah, it's like very, very, very underrated in my opinion, and I think that it's like the people usually say Akami ga Kill is the Game of Thrones of anime, which I disagree with. To me, Game of Thrones of anime, if I was to say one of them, would be Claymore because Claymore doesn't give a shit about the characters that you like or your feelings or whatever. It's going to do what it wants, and these demons are very like unpredictable, similar to like a Demon Slayer. So I would say, yeah, if you like Demon Slayer and stuff like that, you would might want to check it out because it's I think one season. The ending isn't anything crazy, but the journey is it's the journey with the friends that we made along the way, and I think it aged very very well. It's really good.
I don't want to comment on that because it's just gonna bring it down. I just personally never cared for the show.
Have you watched it?
I did. I have.
Okay.
I have, and I did my thing. It's just there's also it's just how do I say this? Because I have no problem the show being older. Because I know some people get
Mhm,
kind of like thrown off by it and everything. But I watch plenty of older. I don't want to say old because it's not even that
mhm.
old.
No.
Older show, but it's just I just didn't care for the plot. I didn't care. The fightings I remember were okay. Nothing. Oh my
The
god.
fight, the fightings.
Yeah, it's not. It's just to
The
me
fight.
that the show was just like whatever. But you're not
Well,
the only
well,
one
here's
though.
the
I
thing.
know multiple people that are like, "Hey,
Well, here,
Claymore's
well, here's the
the
thing
shit."
is because we're coming from two different tastes. So there are shows on here that I don't expect him to like, but it's one of those things where like it might not be for perfectly everybody, but there is an audience
No,
for it.
but
Like,
for at least for Claymore, I'm in a minority in that. I know multiple people
mhm,
that actually, even not even just in our friend group in general, that
yeah,
really highly value that show. It's just it just wasn't
it
for
wasn't
me.
your thing,
It
yeah.
wasn't for me. That's just it.
Thanks for.
I felt bad because you were like, "Yo, I agree with that. That's a good one. That's a good one." I'm like, "Yo, that's not shit."
You know what, Cautious Hero? Fuck Cautious Hero. How about that? Don't watch it. No, don't watch it. It's a good show. Go ahead.
All
Bring me
right.
down some more.
Now, okay, so the next one I'm gonna say is you probably heard of it, but I know you haven't watched it. It's Mob Psycho
Yeah,
100.
it's on my list. I really want to watch it. And they just announced a new season
So
for it. Right?
and yeah,
It's
they
coming
did.
out in fall or
Uh
something like
huh.
that.
So my thing with Mob Psycho is everyone usually only knows it because it's from the same person that did One Punch Man,
Mhm.
which
It
I,
was. Oh,
I'm
okay. I could
yeah
see. I can see that now.
yeah, and me I was one of those people. I was like, oh, it's just it's probably not gonna be as good as One Punch Man because One Punch Man was like up there and not necessarily in like rating, just like popularity.
Mhm.
So once you get to that point, anything else you make after is usually just kind of like, oh, it's not this. So, but I watched Mob Psycho animation, great. I forgot what studio was that did the animation. It was fantastic. The story itself, once it gets further and further onto the actual plot and like more learning about the things,
Mhm.
it's a really deep and like brutal show. Also, like the fighting in the show, like he's just like a kid, and like the man could literally delete anything he wants. And the man just like, yo, I just want to be left alone. I just want to live a normal life. And further going on with the story, like you pick up the pieces of like why he's that way and why he literally has his quote unquote power
Mhm.
and he has to control it and like just very well storytelling of a part of the show, which I wasn't expecting because again, I'm coming up from the person that made One Punch Man, which is the story for One Punch Man isn't that like deep.
Deep. No.
Yeah. But with this one,
It's the title for the whole show.
exactly, and I was pleasantly surprised with this. And like, I watched this. I remember I started watching it just because I had nothing else to watch. I was like, fuck it, I'll watch it, and I kept up with it. And now it's honestly it's a fantastic show, and I see it. Some people rate it highly, and then other people just completely shit on it. And I'm like, there's no reason for that
Mhm.
at all. But
Yeah, I know nothing about that show, but watch it.
yeah, you
See me
definitely should
hyping up
watch it.
this man. Let's watch him tear me down again.
You just picked the one show that I know that I don't like.
No, no, there's probably another
Oh,
couple.
a couple?
Uh,
We only have 5.
my next one is 91 Days. Um, it's basically about this kid who watches his parents get murdered his whole family, his like sibling and like his mother and father get murdered by the mafia because they were like owing money or something like that.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
haven't watched it, but I heard of it.
Yeah. So he what he does is he basically grows up and because he survives the incident, he grows up and he starts trying to infiltrate these different mafias and stuff like that to try to get revenge for his family and posing as like a nobody and then getting in close with them and then whatever. And this is during the time when there was like the prohibition and stuff like that, and it's a very interesting show. A lot of people say that 91 Days has probably one of the better anime endings like ever.
Really?
Um,
It's only a 12 episode show, though,
yeah,
right?
it's a
Yeah.
12
Yeah.
episode show. And I would say it's definitely up there for me. It's not the best anime ending I've ever seen, but like without spoiling anything. But like I do think that it's definitely stands very tall when it finishes, and you're like, oh, okay, and for some reason, I thought it was going to be similar to how you felt about Cautious Hero, a show that was going to be like a 12 and done. I'm going to be over it. I'm not really going to give a shit about the show anymore. I'm going to move on. But it has actually stuck with me. The animation is gorgeous. It has a lot of like very like watercolory, not, I don't want to say watercolory, but like this very unique, distinct art style that's really cool. And especially with watching all these new seasonal shows and like just watching newer shows in general, I've quickly realized as a newer anime show watcher, like I'm really already tired of modern looking anime. For me, like watching so many of the same fucking character models with the same, oh, there's the purple haired girl, there's the pink haired girl, there's the blue haired girl. You're just like, and they all look the same, and you're like, God damn it. But it's nice to watch something like 91 Days where, yes, it's another revenge tale and whatever, but the actual set pieces themselves are fantastic. The characters are very zany and wacky and weird. Very one in particular with like yellow hair. Um, the show's obviously you're gonna see a theme of all just dark shows from being the edge lord.
Depressing. Yeah.
But it is a very dark show. Like it's not really a show that's like
I mean, the
for
show's
the
about the guy coming out of his family guy murdered.
yeah.
So, I
I
mean,
mean, I literally watched the first 5 minutes of the episode. I'm like, wow, this is a very beautiful looking show, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice family.
delete.
What a swell family. Gets fucking deleted. And
I felt with Demon Slayer. I was like,
yeah.
oh, look at that nice mom, nice family. And then literally, I think 10 minutes go by, and I'm like, all right, we need plot.
The show, my only complaint about the show is it can be a little confusing at first when you're trying to learn everyone's names because they're just like spitting the names out like it's no one's business, and you're like, okay, what?
And
Who's this with this family, and what's
it's also
going
because
on
they're
here?
12, so they don't have time to really delve into the
Yeah,
story so you remember. So
but
they're just kind of going with it.
after a while, you'll catch on, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I think the show is just very, very different. Like, it's really nice to see like something like this show because it kind of reminds me of Bakano, but a more serious version of Bakano, which almost made my list. But
Mm.
I feel like more people heard of a Bakano compared to a 91
Yeah,
Days.
and I don't really see people rated low. Every single person I heard at least watched it was always like give it high praise.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
haven't met anyone that watched it that didn't like it.
Yeah. But go watch 91 Days cuz I literally binged it in 2 days and like I was really interested to see what was going to happen next and especially if you just like to see him strategizing on how he's going to basically fuck these families over for fucking him over. It's actually very intriguing and I think you'll like it. But yeah. Have anything bad to say?
No, I heard. No, I haven't personally watched it, so I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
actually
yeah.
say my 2 cents in it. But I heard at least that like I heard of the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard anyone talk about the show, but I heard
Yeah.
of the show. So,
And I like the opening. The opening's pretty good.
hmm.
But your turn.
All right. So this anime is actually literally in my top 3 of all time.
Oh shit.
I love this show.
Is it what I think it is?
Yeah, probably.
PSP,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
hell yeah, the world of God only knows.
Okay.
Didn't realize how lower rating this show was until you told me about that silver spoon is above it.
Really?
Yeah.
I
And I
forgot
was
that I said
like,
that to you.
yeah. And I was like, no way in hell. And I looked up, yeah, it's slightly above it. And I was
What?
like, are you kidding me right now? Literally looking at the show, like, again, it's in my top 3. From beginning to end, I love the show. I love the
Mhm.
direction it went through, the whole shit. The only thing I could give you with the show, granted, the show came out in the first season in 2010.
Yeah.
So the animation, it was good, but it wasn't anything mind blowing. It wasn't anything, oh my god, because you're not there for the animation. You're there for the actual story and the comedy and everything else in it.
Mhm.
Which it did its job of everything going with. You're don't going there for that reason. You're going to get what you're getting, and even the twist near on the third season because it has 3 seasons. The third season it got way more dark because the situation that happened with the show that didn't just turn to just a haha comedy romance show. It actually was like, okay, like we're in this now. And
Yeah.
the opening for the third one, which I don't remember the name, but the lyrics of it is like, oh, this is not a game anymore.
Mhm.
Of the serious tone of it, the show is. I really didn't have any faults with it. In most of these comedy, like almost like quote unquote harem shows, I always hate the girl that they pick.
Yeah.
And this one, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was actually surprised, like, oh wow, he picked that one, and I don't actually hate it. Fantastic. Um,
So the best girl won.
I won't say the best girl, but like literally the girl that I was fine with, because
Okay,
it's
okay.
usually with these type of shows, you know, the main character, the main girl, 9 out of 10, it's gonna go to the main girl.
Yeah.
So, but I know a lot, the name pulls people off. The just the description of the show, like you said, the PSP dude puts the show off. But the show itself is way more in depth with what it actually is. Obviously, the first season and stuff
Mhm.
is all that, but it gets more and more to it. And season 2 to season 3, there's like a 3 year gap on
Mhm.
it. So I understand because I watched it when it's just 2 seasons and then stop, obviously, because the show didn't go. But when it throws in, you see the difference of the years it's been and how great the show is. Manga wise, it's rated very highly, very very highly. It's just the anime. It's just critics actually like it.
Mhm.
It's just in general, just people were like whatever. I just think they just saw the description and was like, ah, this is dumb. But
I
definitely deserves a lot more praise of what it is.
at least for like online opinions that I trust, they've all liked the show.
Mm,
Everyone always says, "Oh yeah, I really like that show." Like I haven't seen it yet personally. It's on my list. I'm gonna be watching it very soon. But like every single person is always like has high praise for the show, so I really want to watch it. The only one is just our friend Alan, who for
he's a
some
hater.
reason really hates that show.
My man shows farm, right? And like even just I also really like how the main character is flawed. Like he's not
Mhm.
this perfect main character that knows what to say or anything. No, he's flawed, and he keeps trying to figure out ways of like capturing quote unquote these girls. Um, by figuring out different ways of doing it.
Capturing these
I say
girls.
because they did call it capture, but it's just making the girls fall in love with him. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. I'm gonna say my third is I'm gonna go Black Lagoon. So Black Lagoon's kind of a tough one to say because it's like it has so many iconic scenes in the show, but most people haven't seen it. Like it's weird. Like it's not like an Elfin Lead or whatever where like everyone's seen Elfin Lead, like everyone and their mom, and they came out around the same time.
yeah. I
But
think it's
like,
just with Black Lagoon. It's one of those shows where like if you weren't watching anime during that time, you're not gonna go watch it.
go
As in,
back.
like, let's say, like, almost like a newcomer watching anime, like I won't say newcomer, like 2010.
Mhm.
I don't really see you watching Black Lagoon. I'll see you watching Elfen Lied because Elfen Lied was more of a
Bigger show.
impact of like, oh, the show of what it is compared to Black Lagoon. Even though I still really like Black Lagoon,
Yeah,
I
it's better than Elfen
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Once you get past like the shock value of Elfen Lied, because back in the day they didn't have that,
Mhm,
it's to me, you could call me what you want. It's a okay show. Like
mhm.
I wasn't oh my god on it, but
I I feel like Black Lagoon,
iconic opening though.
wait, what?
The iconic opening though. The
For
Elfen Lied.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the opening for Elfen Lied, but that's besides why we're just it's doing what happened in real
I,
life. Um, did they come out the same year? I think they came out around the same time. Let me see. Black Lagoon. These are two completely different shows, though. This was 2006, and Elephant Lead was 2004. So never mind. They're
yeah,
like 2 years off.
2 years.
But
Yeah.
I more so mean in terms of like dark shows, like dark kind of whatever, like shows that have iconic scenes from that time period. It just immediately reminds me of those shows, and like to me, Black Lagoon is just if you just like fucking action, balls to the wall, fucking just this really cool company, mercenary company, who basically how can I explain it? Like they literally just go on missions on the sea and just fuck people up or whatever. Like, and you have this badass girl named Revi who literally destroys everybody. Um, and like it's just so what's the word I'm looking for? There's so many scenes like her just going through like ships, just annihilating people.
To be
Like,
honest, you could tell me that she's the main character, and I will 100% believe
no,
you.
she to me she is.
Which she technically isn't, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
she's not, but she
she
is
is.
because she's literally the front cover of the show. She's everywhere. Whenever you see Black Lagoon, you don't see the main character Rock. You see Revy, because she's
Because Rock is
easily.
so lame.
Yeah, that's the only problem with the show is the main character is kind of ass. Like he's just not really that good. But he doesn't really need to be like the rest of the Lagoon Company because
Carries.
it's basically this guy who works a dead end job and then he gets wrapped up into working with this Lagoon Company by accident and then he joins them as a permanent member and he has to basically change his lifestyle of being just a normal guy to working with these cold-blooded killers and these people who are like, yo, this is our job, this is how we make money, you got to get used to it. And he has to try to basically find like um himself out of his own bubble or whatever. And I really, really liked the concept. I thought the show was a lot of fun. My only complaint about the show, the only other complaint I have about the show, besides the main character, is that the ending isn't super amazing. But other than that, you get two of, in my opinion, the best female protagonists ever in
In a long
shows,
time.
which is Roberta and Revy. And when you get to Roberta in the show, you will literally be blown away of what this fucking girl can do.
Columbia represent. Let's go.
But like it's just they're so memorable, and I still remember so many things about the show. And I think the biggest crime a show could be for me is forgettable. And this show literally just sticks in my mind,
Yeah.
like everything, the OVAs, the fucking what's it called? Like every scene that Revy is literally
Yeah,
destroying
the main
people.
scene, the key moments and scenes,
Yeah.
you're gonna remember it.
And so like for me, whenever I think of it's funny because I gave Black Lagoon an 8, but to me in my mind it's like a 9. Like and I stick with that show more than I've given other shows higher ratings. And I'm like, Black Lagoon is one of my favorite shows. It's not the best show in the world. It's not gonna you know, be the second coming of God. You're not gonna bring back
But but you're gonna enjoy it, and
yeah.
you're gonna remember it.
Yeah. So I would say definitely check out Black Lagoon. Once again, kind of another dark show. Kind of another edgy type show. But if you
See,
like titties and guns, you're gonna you're gonna like Black Lagoon. It
yeah,
delivers
I don't
on
really
both of
have
those
that much of a
promises.
dark show. You're-
We're doing two polar different. If you're, it's like that meme where it shows the rainbow haired girl, where it's like the fucking oh, uh, what pumped up kicks sounds like, and then it shows the dark
oh
goth emo
yeah,
girl what the pumped up kicks lyrics actually are. Um, that's us right now, but definitely check it out. Because Black Lagoon is to me very still iconic in anime, and Revy is still one of the coolest protagonists you can ever watch in a show. And I just think it's a show that for some reason people know about it. Everyone's heard of it, but they just haven't watched it. So definitely go watch Black
okay. So the second one is I'm not sure if I told you about it or not. I don't know. Me and Kevin love the show, and
Lagoon.
this is one of the few shows where I'm not that huge of a manga reader, but like I keep up with the manga because how great the show is, and it's Grand Blue. I don't know if I ever told you
I've
that.
heard of it.
Well, the Grand Blue, literally description is completely off-putting, and I get it because it's basically this man joining this diving uh club
Hmm.
and stuff. But like the jokes in this show is one of the best jokes hear in general of any other show.
Hmm.
I die laughing every single time. And one cool factor about the Grand Blue is that they're not kids. They're not high schoolers. They're grown adults. They're like 22 or whatever. So you're gonna get to more adult jokes. Like you're drinking and you're having fun. You're with your bros and bubbly trying to get girls, etc. And it's not weird 16-year-old kid.
Hmm.
And I get what again that it's off putting because if you just go on reading the description of this man joining a diving school, why the hell would I want to see that show? I don't give a damn about diving.
Yeah.
The diving part is which sounds very weird. It's a very small portion of the actual show. It is the majority part of the show is this man with his bros drinking and just getting
So
into a
it's
whole
about
bunch of shit.
it's about the boys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how, but see, when you think I'm saying the boys, of like how the boys got your back. No,
Mhm.
it's the opposite. It's how the boys will completely throw you out for a girl. Of this man, literally the group, and in the group, one guy ended up getting a girlfriend, and they're like, "The hell is this?" Nah, and they literally made their whole life mission to get this man to get dumped, so they all
Mhm.
go be single together. The show is hilarious.
Mhm.
Easily one of my funniest shows I ever watched, and most people haven't heard of it or don't give it a chance because of they just read the description or even just seeing how low it is because no one watches it.
Yeah.
So, but I highly recommend it. Just show, and the show itself in the anime isn't that long. I would continue just reading the manga because to me the manga also further alongs the show, and it just keeps getting better and better. You're gonna have a good time just laughing your ass off with it.
Mhm. That's also on my list of shows I wanna watch. So, yeah. Um, so it's show about the boys, show about, uh, you if y basically what you're saying is if we don't have girlfriends, you don't get a girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, "Yo, we got your back." Where is it? And then figure out one guy's like ahead. Like, oh yeah. Hey, I started talking to this girl. It's like the fuck. And they literally all go together. It's like, yo, this motherfucker's trying to leave.
Trying to leave. What is with these shows? This motherfucker's trying to leave us. I'm capturing all these girls with my PSP.
It's not with the PSP. He just likes playing his PSP with his digital Sims.
I see. Okay, interesting. Um, my next show is Katana Gatari. This show I've talked to him about this show a fuck ton of times.
Yeah, okay, that's dope.
Um, I've literally talked to all my friends about this show a bunch of times, and none of them went to go see it. I told everybody to go watch that show. No one watched it.
It's
You know
on
how
my
depressing that shit is?
it's on my list. It's on my
That's
list.
me trying to be for the boys. I'm like, yo, here's a good fucking show. Enjoy. Let's go. And no one fucking watched it. So it's basically this. It takes place in like the old like samurai era of Japan or
Feudal,
whatever. Huh?
feudal.
Yeah. Or like it's like the Edo period or whatever.
Mm.
And then basically there's like these great katanas which each of them have like a different kind of like trick to them or like a different ability or something like that. And they get spread across all of Japan, and they're like these like um there's this person who has a technique of disarming swords. So the shogun basically hired this girl to go get him to get these katanas for them or whatever. So they have to figure out different strategies on how to get these swords. So, for example, one guy, he's like the fastest swordsman or whatever, but he's like trapped in a room. So if you enter in the room, you're dead. It's over. Like, so they have to try to find a way to get the katana away from him while he's still in the room. And it turns into more of like this
A
strategy.
puzzle.
Yeah, a puzzle, which is what I didn't expect from the show. Because you would think it's just all action, all fighting, and whatever. And the action at first is kind of whatever, but once you get later on down into the show, the action gets a lot better. It's very funny, and the animation is kind of goofy looking. Like when you look at it, you can be like, "This is the show about katanas and stuff." Like it looks really weird, but I really love it after a while, and it's very, very beautiful. And the show has some very, once again, dark moments in it, without spoiling anything. Like it really is not really like lighthearted or anything. I keep saying the same thing. It's not really lighthearted.
It's
It's dark.
dark.
It's
It's
really
very,
hard to
yeah,
not say it, because you don't want to say the
yeah, yeah,
spoilers and you
actually.
want people to find them out for
Just go back
themselves.
to straightening your hair, put your black eyeliner on, let's go.
And MCR is back, so it's the perfect time. But like, yeah, it's not really a show where you expect the animation to match what it is, but it's not. It actually has a lot of moments where you're like, holy fuck, okay, well, Jesus. And one of my favorite ones also is like this one where the person who made the katana made 1,000 of them or like hundreds of them. and he basically would put them behind like trees and under the sand and like behind buildings. And his whole philosophy was basically like you shouldn't have to only stick to one sword on the battlefield. You should be able to use whatever sword is at your disposal wherever, so you can kill whoever the fuck you need to kill. And it turns into the main character being trapped in this basically shitty situation where he's surrounded by weapons all around him, and he's useless with a weapon, by the way. He can't use
Oh,
weapons.
really?
No, he only disarms with his hands.
Oh.
So he's stuck fighting this woman who has like 10 trillion swords and moving around, be like, oh, you got that one? Doesn't matter. I have three more, motherfucker. 10 more, motherfucker. So, like, please watch it because the biggest issue with it is you kind of have to pirate it. It's not on any streaming site
No,
at all.
no one picked it up?
No one picked it up. That's why no one's been able to watch it.
Huh.
So, you might have to pirate it.
Or
That's what I did. But like, I did not regret it though. Especially with all the inconvenience of pirating and everything. It was definitely worth my time, and I really want you to watch it because I think you'd
Mhm.
really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
it's on my list.
Yeah,
I wasn't joking about that. It's on my list to watch. It's just time and watching other shows and
yeah.
stuff.
Because at first that show was like an 8, and then it boosted up to a 9. Like I was like, damn, this show really like it hit my soul for some for some reason. But all right, we'll do our last two.
The last two.
Your number one, my
Oh,
number
I
one.
got you. I was like, what? Alright.
Sorry.
So I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So mine number one will be. I think you heard of it. I'm not sure exactly what you heard, but it's Hitman Reborn.
yeah. You told me about this.
And Hitman Reborn is one of the shows that, and I'm guilty of it, is that the show completely changes genres like a couple episodes in. Because I think I watched maybe like 17 episodes, or not that much, maybe like 10, starting watching it because I heard about it. It's like, oh, cool, let me watch it. And I dropped it.
Hmm.
Completely dropped because it was like a gag anime. And, guys, dork or loser, and oh, haha, his pants, he's in his underwear, boxers, like, make fun of him. I'm like, I don't give a damn about this. And the jokes really didn't hit. And I was like, I'm dropping this.
Hmm.
Years go back, years, and then one of my friends, Kevin, told me to rewatch it and continues going. I
Shout outs,
promise you.
shout outs to Kevin.
You're right. If it wasn't for Kevin, I would have not watched the show. And I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll try it. And I try it, and this show completely does a 180. Once it gets to a certain threshold of like a serious tone, the actual main plot of the story of him being his mafia with his group, his right hand man, his left hand man, and all that fighting almost like a gang war
Hmm.
with powers and the jokes hit and um crazy arcs of it. The show, it boosts up so much, and even as bad as the beginning of what is, it doesn't hinder of the show was, because once I get to the point, I completely forgot about the first part and I just had a great time. And now, yeah, I even recommend it to other people. And I know the beginning is rough. Again, I'm guilty of it. I dropped it. But the show just goes on and it's a fantastic show. And it's so sad that people don't continue with watching just because they just give up on it, or or they just see, because most people just see the show and they see like the baby. They
Hmm.
see like a time baby, like, I don't want to watch this. And it's so much better. And rating wise, it should be, there's a lot more. I can't speak of it enough of how great the show was.
Okay. So, for my final show, there's a reason why I've been calling myself the edge lord of this underrated top 5 shows with my edgiest show. Can you guess what it is?
It's not Helsing, is it?
Oh, it's Hellsing
Oh my
Ultimate.
god.
It's Hellsing Ultimate, boys. Let's go. Um, yeah. Where do I start with this one? This is a show that not everyone's going to like, even though has really good reviews. Like it has really, really good reviews. Um, and do not watch regular Hellsing. I'm talking about Hellsing Ultimate. Fuck regular Hellsing. This is basically like the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but for Hellsing. It's you see stuff in that show that you're like, is this really on screen right now? Like, is this actually happening right now? Shit just kind of happens. It's basically like this vampire who is working. He's in this company called Helsing, where his name is Alucard, and he basically has to hunt other vampires and stuff like that. and it's he trains like a newcomer who's like a police officer who gets turned by him, or no, yeah, he gets turned by she gets turned by him to save
Mhm.
her life, and then basically he has to train her to become a cool ass vampire hunter. So the show, so you want to talk about dark ass shit? This whole
Your
show
your
is
whole
just
list is dark
dark
ass
ass.
shit.
No, but this show is dark. The 10 episodes of this show are darker than every other show on my list,
Yeah, I mean,
like
yeah.
way darker. And like I remember I got Juan to watch the show, and Juan was like, "Okay, I'll watch it," because he was like, the deal was is he could use he could like skim off my fucking Hulu account if he watched Helsing Ultimate. So I was like, okay, bet. He got to the first couple episodes. He was like, "Yeah, I like it. It's cool. It's interesting." And then he got most of the way through the show, and he was like, "I don't know how I feel or what is going on in this show," because it just gets to a point where it just goes fucking apeshit crazy, and things are like it's just a giant war with Nazis, the KKK,
Yeah, it's literally
vampires.
it was like KKK, Nazis, and like the church part also kind of part of the
Well,
KKK.
yeah, they're not the KKK. They just look like the
Yo,
KKK. They
you pull a KKK member and one of those church motherfuckers, hood on and everything. They're literally, yo, what's up, buddy?
like literally it just gets so fucking wild that by the end of the show, because I'm not saying the show is perfect, my only complaint about the show is more so just the humor is very old style 2000s anime humor, but the most like cliche version of that. I don't like the humor of the show, but the action itself, the way he fights other people and stuff, and how fucking rude he is to other people, is just very very fucking entertaining. Like, remember the part with the guy with the cards, and he was just like, "Yo, what's up,
Oh yeah.
Hellsing? No, hell, what's up, Alucard? You a bitch?" And then Alucard just literally kicks his leg off. You won't need that. No, you good. Like,
No, my favorite still what the one was like the quote like not blonde out like white hair guy that was like made to be him,
yeah.
and then like when Alucard's like, all right, I'm done playing, and he has a little like demon dog aura, and he's like, what? No, and he's like running like a little bitch when he was like talking all this smack, and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want this no more. I'm good.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna your shit. I'm gonna eat you, and then you're gonna turn into
Do
my
shit.
shit."
Yeah,
Like that show is the definition of edge. But the thing is, though, is like Alucard is probably one of the top 5 most OP people ever. Like he's just OP, and the way you find out why he's OP is actually really fucking cool, in my opinion. So yeah, that's about it. Uh, Let us know what you think about our shows, and if you've seen any of them, or if you shows that you would recommend us that are underrated that maybe we haven't seen.
definitely would recommend that.
Yeah, we would love to hear any shows that we're sleeping on, because there's a long list of shows that we've been wanting to see, like Ranking of Kings, and I really wanted to see the show called Banana Fish and a bunch of other things. So let us know down below. If you're an audio listener, you can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, comment, like the videos. Any support would be amazing. We really appreciate it. If you watch us on YouTube, you could listen to us at work while you are dying at your job, like we do
Most probably that.
when we're dying at our jobs listening to podcasts. Through any podcast app of your choice, we're literally everywhere. We're everywhere.
We're literally everywhere.
Like
Turn, we're there.
we're there. And then follow us on Instagram. We have all our links down in the description down below. Um, and I'm Hunter,
I'm on.
and this has been the Headphones On Podcast Anime Edition, and we hope you have a good day. Bye.